I'm grateful that you could make time to join us. We are coming to you live from our studios at Kokomlemle in Accra, also streaming live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 144, and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The details now. A little over 2 years after investigator Ahmed Hussein Swale was killed by gunmen, no one has been charged, prosecuted, or convicted for the offense. Mr. Swale, who works closely with investigative journalist Anas Aremeyaw Anas, was killed months after they had worked on a documentary on football corruption. Today on Total Recall, we put the spotlight on this unresolved murder.
Public on Tuesday viewed the much-anticipated number 12, Anas Aremeyaw Anas's latest investigation.
In June 2018, investigative journalist Anas Aremeyaw Anas released his number 12 documentary. He filmed then GFA President Kwesi Nyantakyi engaged in influence peddling.
When we get the contracts, big contracts, we can go back and give them more money. And then we take over the whole country.
Ahmed Hussein Swale, described as a colleague of Anas, is said to have been instrumental in this project. Shortly after its release, Anas and his colleague became victims of a series of verbal attacks spearheaded by Saint Central MP Kennedy Japan. On the evening of January 16, 2019, Ahmed Swale was shot dead by unidentified gunmen riding motorbikes.
He shot him first gunshot before Ahmed moved the car, and then the second one. So Ahmed was rushing, so he used the car to enter that kiosk, that saloon over there. So he used the car to enter, and then the man went there again and gave him the last shot. So make it three gunshots. He followed him into the shot and gave him 3 gunshots. Ahmed was inside the car. So as he received that 2 gunshots, the car moved by force and then entered the shop over there. So the car spoiled the glass and everything over there.
He was laid to rest shortly after. There were loud calls for the perpetrators to be brought to book.
It is within the bounds of capacity of the Ghana police and the law and order community as a whole to fish out the perpetrators and bring them to book. They have a track record of dealing with such matters.
The calls received presidential backing.
I am deeply regretful that despite the best efforts of the police, the perpetrators of the murder of Ahmed Swale are still at large. But I assure you, this dossier will not be closed until they are brought to justice.
Then Director General of Police Public Affairs, ACP David Eklu, gave this update.
Found that the 15,000 cedi bounty has been placed on any information that would aid in arresting the suspects. Eyewitnesses have been interviewed, and as I speak now, 6 suspects have been arrested, questioned, and are currently on bail. In addition to that, 3 other persons that we believe may have information related to that murder have been questioned and have been given statement forms to give their statement to the police. They include the MP for Asin Central, Honorable Kennedy Agyekum, Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi, and Anas Aremeyaw Anas. They have all been given statement forms to give statements and return them to the police.
Fast forward to May 2021. No one has been charged for the murder.
There has been quite a number of unresolved murder cases. Key among them is the longer-standing Ahmed Swale matter. And indeed, there's a need for a resolution for that crime.
Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame demanded answers from the Ghana Police Service.
And indeed, there's a need for a resolution for that crime, because the resolution will actually even indicate the motive for the commission of the crime. Now it's become, it's gained currency that the person was killed on account of the work that he was doing. that may necessarily not be the case. The person could have been murdered not really on account of his work. It could have been as a result of many other concerns or motives. But it can only be ascertained through a resolution of that crime.
IGP James Opombuenu gave this response.
On the Ahmed Swale case, some progress has been made in terms of actions on the part of police. It may not be prudent to put that out in the public domain. We've taken certain steps in terms of investigation, and I believe that's a step further than the normal thing that we are doing. But for purpose of the investigation, to the sanctity of the investigation, we might not be able to put it out to the general public, so we will not mention it. But when we are alone, he'll be able to give the details on that.
Only justice will help heal the family of Swale of the pain that his death has brought them.
Please come forward. Please give us the answers that we need. Please help us find the people who did this.
For now, the matter remains one of the many unresolved cases that has left respected state figure like Mohammed Ibn Chambers and Sam Jonah troubled.
Security and rule of law. In these two particular categories, we have declined. Slow justice system and some high-profile deaths which have not really come out with any clear convictions.
What is baffling is that those who used to have voices on these things seem to have lost their voices. People speak on issues based on who is in power. It's a definite silence suggesting that we are no longer concerned about issues that we complained about yesterday. The molestation and in some cases assassination of journalists, murder of MPs, corruption, the harassment of agents.
Only time will tell when the matter will get some form of closure.
To some other stories now, Daniel Domelevo left office because he had reached retirement age. That's according to President Kufuor, who has been defending his anti-graft record. He insists Ghana's position on the global fight against corruption rankings has improved since he took office in 2017. Mr. Kufuor came under intense public criticism after he directed former Auditor General Daniel Domelevo to proceed on retirement. He's been speaking on the matter with US TV network, the CNN.
The word pride is not the word I would use. I mean, am I satisfied that we've been effective? And I would say that yes, a lot has been done, and it's reflected in Ghana's growing position on rankings on corruption in the world. We've gone up several notches since I came into office because we're dealing with these matters at a basic level. For instance, the institutions that are there, the anti-corruption institutions of our country, when I came into office, were very poorly resourced. You can talk all you like about corruption and inveigle and make all the wonderful state, but if the instruments at your disposal for dealing with it are weak and blunt, you will get no results.
President Addo, some people are upset that the Auditor General was forced out of a job, and one of his important mandates was rooting out corruption.
There are laws in our country, and the Auditor General, like me, we should be some of the first to recognize the laws in our country. There's a time for retiring, which is prescribed by statute. They're not mind-making. If you're 60 years old, you're supposed no longer to be able to work in the public service. The Auditor General came to 60 years old and then had to retire. So the expression, and I say so with great respect to you, that of forcing out, well, he was not forced out of government. He left office by the operation of law.
Moving on, he lost his 2 trucks and almost got maimed as a result of his one-man campaign against illegal felling, salvaging, transporting and export of rosewood. That's how much Jeremiah Abubakar Seidu suffered at the hands of unknown persons behind the illegal practice in Bole and surrounding districts and assemblies in the Savannah region. He made the revelation to me earlier on News Desk ahead of the Rosewood edition of the Joy Forum scheduled for tomorrow, Wednesday, May 5.
It's been a very interesting but challenging process. if you are not passionate about the environment in this country, you will not venture into the rosewood industry, and not to talk about stopping it. In dealing with rosewood, you are touching on high-level powered people, you are touching on security people, you are touching on landowners, decision makers on the land, you are touching on young people, those you live with, you are touching on all kinds of manners of people. Once you want to deal with it, someone there will come out and tell you, hey, please, remember I eat from this place. I have lost my official Isuzu pickup through shooting. I took my wife's pickup, Kia Sportage. I lost that to it. I have been threatened that I should leave my car and they'll pour petrol on the car and bench. I said, no, go ahead and do that. When we went to monitor rosewood around 11 p.m., a crane threatened to drop a log on the vehicle that I was working on. Even yesterday, when I was at the factory, threats of calls came. But for me, the passion, for me, God's work, for me, the vulnerable people, I would prefer to die in the name of rosewood for the vulnerable people to get their lives lived on. And I pray that we see this as the oxygen of the North and not just as rosewood. Let's see the environment as the oxygen of the North. And when there's no oxygen, nothing else will happen.
So stakeholders in the environment sector will convene at the Labadi Beach Hotel to dialogue on the status of recommendations by the Committee of Inquiry into alleged corruption in rosewood trade in Ghana. It will be live at 10 a.m. on this platform and Joy 99.7 FM plus myjoyonline.com, as well as all our social media handles. Meanwhile, Joy News' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam paints a picture of the seriousness of the illegality despite an existing ban.
According to the Environmental Investigation Agency report, about 6 million rosewood trees have been cut down in Ghana for illegal export to China since 2012. Despite government's ban and further tightening other loopholes on the illegal trade and felling of the endangered species, the practice still goes on. The personalities fingered in the act are corrupt government officials and local authorities. The illegal felling of rosewood in the Upper West region could best be described as hide and seek. Here, the illegal loggers finds a district or an outlandish community to ply their trade. When their sins are being exposed, they could go on their quiet and move to another community to continue with their nefarious activities. Member of Parliament for the West constituency, Superintendent retired Peter Tutu, whose constituency he claimed the practices on the rise, is deeply worried to the marrow.
I got into the forest, I saw beautiful trees that were cut down, and I just began to see a desert that is moving faster downward than ever before. And I'm asking, if this is what we are going to leave for future generations, then we should be doing harm to the future than our grandfathers have done for us. The level of detection will tell you the level of spread. But until you see it, you may think that it's at a particular level, but it may be more than that or less than that. My interest is the fact that this is an illegality and it must stop.
The West District Assembly in 2018 arrested these rosewoods that were illegal cut in some communities in the district and dumped at the Wuchao police station. West District Chief Executive Edward Labido Sabo agreed hook, line and sinker with Superintendent Peter Tutu on the illegal practice. However, he said it is difficult to fight it because the people are not ready to devote information to enable the security arrest the perpetrators.
So I deployed the police and the military people to the scene. When they got there, they were not able to see anybody. They found out from the communities. They were not willing to show them the area that the people are actually doing the operations. They set search around that area. They patrolled there about 2-3 days. They haven't heard anything. So the operation they are doing there, it is that they have stopped. They have run away. even as Anan, to identify the spot. Those people that have been able to know the place, when you ask them to lead you there, they don't always want to go. They will only be sending information across, but when you contact the person that where is actually that area, it becomes a challenge.
Since the practice was done on the quiet and on the blind side of most of the people, the team therefore went on the prowl, driving from one district to the other, looking for communities where this illegal felon of the rosewood is taking place. When we bump into these 10 pieces of rosewood dumped by the roadside at Paredebu, we knew we were about hitting our target. We managed to meander our way through the forest, which was fast depleting because of the activities of the illegal loggers, and on a bumpy, inaccessible route to get to the Kajipere enclave.
From the Upper West region, let's head to the Northeast region. The Walewale Divisional Police Command has begun investigations into the killing of an elephant in the area. Divisional Commander DSP Cosmos, I was speaking to John News, said the move follows a formal complaint filed at the station by officials of the Wildlife Division. The commander warned anyone found culpable will be made to face the law. Meanwhile, the regional wildlife manager for Northern Ghana, Joseph Binlila, who led a delegation to the area, says the case will be vigorously pursued to get the culprits arrested and prosecuted. Also, he says the pair of tags will be retrieved and given to the state. Iliasu Tanko reports.
This is what has been left of the bull elephant, which was pursued and consciously killed by a group of armed locals on Saturday in this small bent forest near the villages of Palio and Misio in the Westman Prosi municipality. The residents have dismembered it and the carcass scattered in tricycles and taken away for consumption. The wildlife officials have been speaking about their findings at the crime scene.
We proceeded to the crime scene, and then when I got there, yes, I saw the exact location of it. The meat, the carcass was already gone. The tusk, which perhaps is the main target of these criminals, was already taken away, and then the meat is gone. We only saw some intestines in the area. This elephant is suspected to have moved from Moli National Park. If you know the geography of the area, a bit of the geography of the area, from the area where the elephant was killed, then you move into the Yaga Baku border area, which is close to Moli National Park. Yes, so this elephant in particular seemed to have migrated from Moli National Park to feed around and get back into the reserve. So we think that they went to the area to drink water, because it really was close to a river. So the long drought that we have experienced is also another factor. They would have come close to the area and fed. An elephant, knowing its migratory routes, historical migratory route, will definitely know that. So we know that there's a stream there, from which they can get water to drink. I told him that the elephants was there to cause any harm, or was there to destroy people's crop. As the season is not even a farming season, so there was no crop there for the elephant to destroy. And looking at the distance from the community to where the elephant was killed, it was not there to harm anybody. So people intentionally, pursued it, consciously. And what I'm gathering is that, or what I gathered is that, more than 10 hunters pursued it with locally made guns, or they pursued it with shotguns, discharged quite some pellets at it, and the elephant will not budge. When they realized that they couldn't overpower it, they rather went again. Came that masked man may have killed you with a very powerful weapon, because we looked around and saw that the lungs were there, riddled with ammunition. And what we are doing as several men on the ground, what we are doing to ensure that some of these things do not happen.
From the crime scene, the wildlife delegation also paid a courtesy call on and to report the matter to the paramount chief of the area, Nazuri Saka Sulemana. The Wunaba and his elders were prevailed upon by the furious officials to ensure the culprits were found and punished to deter others. The paramount chief, in response, reiterated his condemnation of the act and said he was equally outraged by the incident. He pledged his support for the ongoing investigation. The Divisional Police Commander DSP Cosmos Awe, who is leading the investigation, assured the perpetrators will be arrested.
My station officer called that there were some officials from wildlife who had come to lodge a complaint that during their routine rounds within a place called Monsieur, they saw one of their elephants shot and killed. So they suspected foul play. I asked them to lodge official complaint, and immediately my investigator and some other men joined them to the scene to take photographs and assess the area. We also contacted the chief of Wungu, who is a very good, respected chief, and he helps us so much. We spoke to him to help us because in the community, once they've seen police presence, the man will go into hiding. And with his assistant, he has promised to get us the suspect. They mentioned somebody, they gave him some name. And he said we should give him the chance to, by the close of today, possibly, he will get us the suspect. So investigation is closed, getting close on him. We hope that we'll get him and then put him, we'll do our investigation and then put him before the law.
Elias Sutanko reporting.
Government can trigger a reduction in fuel prices if it reduces taxes on the product. This is the position of Executive Director of the Kumasi Institute of Technology and Environment, Ishmael Agyekum, as Ghanaians complain of a sharp increase in how much they pay for the commodity. Social media has been awash with pictures of fuel stations displaying the new prices, captioned by complaints of the magnitude of increase, with jabs at the government for presiding over the situation. Mr. Agyekum says, though the sale of fuel is deregulated, meaning government does not directly determine the pricing, the rate of the most recent increase was brought about by the addition of new taxes announced by this government during the reading of the 2021 budget. Mr. Agyekum was speaking on Prime Morning.
If you look at the math, there was supposed to be some increase, but yes, the taxes are some of them are levies which are slapped directly on the ex-refinery or ex-depot price. When you look at the price build-up, you have the ex-refinery price, then you have the ex-depot price, then you have the ex-pump price, which is what you and I pay when we get to the fuel pumps. And that price that you pay, if you disaggregate the prices, you have quite a chunk of that coming, accounting for taxes and levies, going into taxes and levies. I think the last time I did the math, it should be within 35 and 40%, which is the tax and levies component of what we pay. So yes, some of the taxes were existing taxes which have been increased, and I think one or two new ones have been introduced. So yes, the quantum of increase, not so much the increase, but the quantum of increase is a function of some of the taxes that that just keep being effective May 1. At the end of the day, when it comes to petroleum products, with the food deregulation, the best the government can do with them is say, let me look at my taxes and my levies and see if I can drop a few pesos so that and even in this case, if government had the option or is in the position to say that, look, maybe the various levies and taxes, I could do something about it, probably prices wouldn't go up. But here is a case, the government in its budget is actually, it's still in needs of more money.
Well, we've been out to find out from consumers of petroleum products what they make of this latest development.
Fuel prices have gone up. It follows a directive from the National Petroleum Authority to oil marketing firms across the country to start applying new taxes on fuel prices. Well, if you're coming out to buy fuel today, you would have to be paying more for what you usually would buy. If you're coming by a Shell filling station, a litre of fuel is 6 cedi 13 pesos. If you go to Total filling station, the price is same. If you'll be visiting Radiant Oil today, you will be paying 5 cedis 25 pesos for a litre of oil. But we're at Shell filling station right now, and so far we've been here for like 5 minutes, and only 2 individuals have come through to buy fuel. That is because their price is one of the highest in the country as we speak. Well, We've been speaking to some drivers who say that the increase in fuel prices is taking a toll on their sales already, and they want government to intervene, lamenting this is not the change they voted for.
I think the price is too high. I don't know if it's because of the taxes or what. I think the government can do something about it. Honestly, something needs to be done. And once fuel price goes up, it affects everything.
For me, actually we sell online, okay? And once we sell online, the fuel price goes up. It makes some of these clients have difficulty to order the stuff that they do. So imagine a client is buying something 65 cedis and have to pay a delivery of 40 cedis. How would they come back and come and buy again if the delivery is so exorbitant?
So far as the fuel prices have gone up, we know that obviously it's going to affect a lot of things. And it's obviously, if it affects a lot of things, okay, negatively, we know the hardship that it will be on the workers if workers' salaries have not been increased.
Aban we oba no enye sa anwum no woto ye oba se oba na ye nyina ye ho ato ye ya driver 42 efa petrol hu nsem enso oba no de bia petrol ko soro ye ntiase sa no ka oba na ko sa no ka anka ye ntoma no enti onso ho na petrol nsem in fact yes you put petrol ga no so ye hu so mfase wo.
To be frank, auntie, fuel any dear, a high to the extent that we are Juma, Unyashi, yes, we are Juma for Swanti, some, but yeah, because Unya, Unchiru, we are Juma hand to mouth. So, Intanka, slow by Nanko, and share. Boy, I also just obey Bibi, my yes, way, then your I toy and crack because you see a gun for.
Well, so much too much. Yes, we scan Nick room and say, yes, I might want to you to the abundance of Kakaka, the Jumano. Full amount of so much on Tisma, Cacrasina, Besso, Botum, Neddy my ceremony and bound on Monsieur Question Marshall School, their Costco, and in Dassy.
While the increase in fuel prices may have a rippling effect on the prices of goods and services, so brace yourself to pay more. I'm Faustina Sako for Joy News.
Now, work on the 35-kilometer Wulugu-Basenpe Road in the Northeast region has come to a halt after armed robbers attacked workers of the construction company at their camp in Du near Walewale. 4 masked men armed with AK-47 rifles were said to have attacked Chinese contractors, CT Ghana Construction, on Wednesday and made away with about 30,000 cedis that was being kept at the camp to pay salaries. The attack also left 1 person injured, with some items damaged. Joy News visited the camp and confirmed that workers have laid down their tools since the incident and all equipment have been withdrawn from site. Correspondent Elias Tanko reports.
This is a camp of the City Ghana Construction Company where the robbery incident occurred last Wednesday. The chief security will not permit me to film from inside the fence. And right beside the main gate is this structure, serving as the workers' canteen and being managed by this young woman who gave her name as Sekina Danjima. It is here the 4 armed men who arrived on 2 motorbikes started the robbery operation. Sekina has been injured on her right shoulder after she was hit with a rifle as she attempted to resist the armed men who had asked her to hand over all her belongings.
I am the
cook here, and on that day, the robbers woke me up from my sleep and asked me to go inside and bring the money. I told them there is no money here. One of them then slapped me, and I threw stone at him. He slapped me again, and I responded saying. There he tried to remove his gun, but I quickly held the rope of the gun and we struggled for several minutes to a point where I nearly disarmed him. Then one of them hit me with a gun.
It is still unclear how the armed men managed to gain access into the fence camp after the long confrontation with the cook right in front of the gate. The chief security of the company, Osei Peter, who declined to be videotaped, narrated his encounter with the robbers.
We were 4 of them. 2 remained outside, 2 entered the place. They get and I met them that I met you. They said, they are coming for the money.
Wow.
What money? They said, the money. I said, is somebody who owe you here? If somebody will talk to me, I'm the chief secretary, so let's talk. If somebody is owing you this company, then let me call that person and we'll sort it out. So they said, no. They were pushing me. I was also going down, so I was also insisting that they will not go. So when they get to know that, no, I'm not giving them the chance to go. The one where I smoke, remove error for AK-47, and point it on me. That should move. I said, to where? They matched me to the office. When we entered the office, they rushed to the accountant, the white man. Said, bring all the money. Bring all the money. Bring all the money. Bring all the money.
The Wulugu-Kasimpe road, currently under construction, is an important route linking the West Mamprose municipality to the Mamprugu-Mwaduri district and further to the Upper West region. Contractors have been working round the clock since work on the road began late last year, racing against time to avoid being caught up in delays as the rains are about to set in. The construction of this road is also part of measures by the municipal authorities to enhance security and open up access to certain vital public services such as healthcare and education in the overseas communities. However, since the attack at the camp, workers have abandoned the site and are yet to return. The attack was reported to the police in Waliwali. DSP Cosmos Awe is the Waliwali Divisional Police Commander.
But we're told that there are 4, 2 each on a motorbike with 2 AK-47, who came to the premises of the company, escorted the chief security into the company office, and went straight to the cashier. Asked him where the money is. He should hand over the money to them straight away. Then they were firing indiscriminately throughout the company. And I was told they were able to make away with 300,000 cedis, which was meant for workers. That day in question was supposed to be their payday. There was no casualty. And now investigations is underway.
Elias Tutanko reporting.
You're watching John News today with me, Benis Abubedu Dansa. Coming up, businesses call for special stimulus package from Bank of Ghana to make them competitive under AFTA. Darryl Kwao has details shortly in business.
Good afternoon, welcome to business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry is calling on the Bank of Ghana to institute a special stimulus package for companies that will be trading under the African Continental Free Trade Area. According to the Chamber, a different interest rate must be applied for Ghanaian industries to enable them to produce for the market and remain competitive. Frederick Eduamako is president of the Chamber.
It has to do with a lot of countries in the continent to be part of it. And so we have to get a perfect knowledge of the market as to what is going on in other countries. We want to know where we have our strength to produce at lower cost. We are talking about cost of funds. Yes, it's key. Apart from coming out with a standard that other countries seek to ask us to supply them in specific standards, we still have to be competitive. A situation where you have the Francophone countries supporting their members with some fundings and a form of stimulus package makes us worse off at a go. And that is why we are asking that if the cost of fund is not good enough, we'll not be able to be very competitive. So the government should look at a form of giving us some stimulus package. More so, the government can also come together with the banks. I saw the governor here to come out with a way of getting some support in the form of lower interest rate for those who are availing themselves into the market. As business entities, when we are doing well, it's the bank that benefits a lot. If our businesses are not doing well, their existence will not be necessary. So if they invest in us, it's a way of trying to tell us that they are protecting their business into the future. And I think that is key for us to look at it. And so we want to remain more competitive and want the government to come to our aid so that the cost of funds will be quite good for us to be very competitive.
In other news, the Upper East Region branch of the General Agricultural Workers Union, GAU, of the Trades Union Congress is calling for the immediate removal from office the Managing Director of the Irrigation Company of the Upper East Region, Dr. Benedict Bonaventure Aligabam. The union, at a press conference held in Tono in the Kasena Nankana municipality, said they feel threatened by him. The union also accuses the MD of gross abuse of power. Correspondent Albert Sori has more.
The Ghana Agricultural Workers Union, GAU, works to protect the interests of its members across the country. According to the union's branch in the Upper East Region, about 40 of their members are working in and around the Tono and Via irrigation dams. Both irrigation schemes are managed by the Irrigation Company of Upper Region, ICOR, but the workers say they are unhappy about the leadership style of the current Managing Director, Dr. Benedict Bonaventure Aligabam. At a press conference held at Tono, the Upper East Region branch of GAU accused Dr. Aligabam of gross abuse of power, dictatorship, among other things. The Upper East Regional Chairman of GAU, Adam Jibril, addressed the press conference.
The modus operandi of the managing director especially is to a large extent perpetrating gross abuse of power, dictatorship, self-centeredness, and thwarting government efforts. The illegal sale of subsidy fertilizer under the Planting for Food and Jobs, PFJ, to Tono farmers at a cutthroat market price contrary to government-approved price. The farmers were exploited with impunity by the managing director to enrich himself. What is worse is that the whole transaction was shrouded in secrecy. Yes. That is, hidden from company records. The MD's closure of the internal audit unit of the company contrary to all recommendations under the ICOR transformation. It appears this is being done at the blind side of the board of directors. Yes. It is also against the law.
The Upper East Region branch of GAU also alleged that the MD of ICOR owns a gun and has previously used it to threaten some of their members who dared to challenge him.
He is noted for his threats with gun on workers. The MD is noted for his open proclamation of his gun ownership before workers. His inability to control his anger whilst dealing with his workers is also very well known and scary. He easily gets intensely angry over ordinary things on a daily basis, leading him to want to crush the worker involved without any regard to lay down structures. Workers do not feel safe working under this MD.
The Upper East Region branch of the General Agricultural Workers Union therefore called on government to investigate the managing director of the Irrigation Company of Upper Region and remove him from office.
All right, and there's more coming up on the marketplace. We're going to be talking fuel prices as well as transport fares. But up next, though, it's sports. Don't go anywhere.
I am Muftar Nabila Abdullah. Welcome to Sports on Joy News today. The Ghana Football Association will this afternoon hold a draw for the FA Cup. The competition has been on a hiatus since the 2018 football season. Henry Asante-Chum, Communications Director of the Ghana FA, says a deliberate plan has been put in place to make the competition an admirable one.
Cup will start likely latter part of this month. And you know, it is the largest competition in terms of pool and number. So the Division 2 clubs will take off at the preliminary round, and then the round of 64, the Division 1 clubs will join, and then the round of 32, the Premier League clubs will join, and then we go on and on and on and on. The preparation is that, yes, now the FA Cup will compete with the other competitions because the Premier League is doing well. The Women's League has also started and is doing quite well. I have watched about 10 games so far, and patronage and performance of the teams look very good, very impressive. Division 1, I've watched about 15 games, and also the performance is top-notch. So the FA Cup, arguably the most exciting domestic competition, will have to rival these other competitions. What we have put together is a strategy, a media plan, a marketing plan to make sure when it comes back, it will have that same attention compared to the other products of the FA. Yesterday, I had a meeting with the chairman of the MTN FA Cup committee, Honorable Senata, to discuss what we can do as a department to push the product.
The FA Cup is slated to start on May 14. From the FA Cup, let's do Ghana Premier League football. And with 12 matches to end the 2020-2021 Ghana Premier League season, Great Olympics appear to be losing control of the league title. The Wonder Club occupied the summit at the end of the first round, with their supporters believing this year could be the year they will be winning the championship. However, they've since dropped to third, paving way for Midday SC and Asante Kotoko to occupy the first and second spots. With this trajectory, captain of the team, Glatton Awako, reckons winning this year's competition is going to be a big task. There's more in the following report. The Wonder Club have lost their place at the summit of the league table to Midday SC and Asante Kotoko, and currently occupy the third position on the league log. Skipper of the team, Glatton Awako, have called on their supporters to be cautious of their optimism that this is the season Olympics will be champions of the Ghana Premier League.
I've heard several football loving fans, they do. I hear them say this a lot, most of your colleagues as well. And our fans, yes, they love it, they want to win it, we want to win it too. So, but at the moment, I don't think we're going to put pressure on us by saying we want to do this, we want to do that, because the points in between is very small, it's not that big. So you see how the league is going. You win today, you are at the top, you lose, you are coming down. So we can't come out now and say that we want to win the league. So we'll take it game after game. When we get there and we see we have the chance to, we'll do that.
The Wonder Club had a great start to life in the first round of the Premier League season. In the second round, their performance, however, have been zigzag. Awako believes winning the league this season is going to be extremely tough for him and his teammates.
It's not going to be easy because there are injuries, there are suspension and all that. So we need to make sure we have equal, when maybe player A is out, we should have a replacement for that player. But when he comes in, he's going to do exact work that the other guy is doing, and we need to be disciplined as well, and make sure we do the simplest thing, the easiest thing that we've been doing. We should keep it up. We shouldn't be swallowing a debt. With that, I don't think it's going to help us.
Olympics is 2 points behind league leaders Midday FC, and they will be facing West African Football Academy on March 23 of the Premier League. And that is all for sports for now. Continue to enjoy the rest of our programs, but you can have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com/sports. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullahi.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News Today. Now, aside from being an astute military man, the late former President John Rawlings had a soft spot for music. As a fan of both local and international music, Mr. Rawlings never hesitated to throw a beam on artistic works that projected Ghanaian culture. For this same reason, the Musicians Union of Ghana organized a virtual concert in memory of the late statesman.
One can me try me do a bushing in so Yamensa, and the Ghana show Yamensa, and the ones who are country show Yamensa. Milady Majonica J. Agri, Milady Majonica Rawlings Agri, Milady Majonica Jerry Agri. Oh, warriors. No, let me go. Panafino Kenya Kautona. When you
Capucci, me cousin Dremo. Film fiesta, my cousin Koshe. 4 years, now me yami do free. Boys, fashion do frame. Got it in with you, the baby side.
Not respond. We are denied even a nod. For those who did, and for those who did not understand you, you are ancestor to all.
Thank you, Musica, for organizing this program to honor my late husband, Flight Lieutenant J.J. Rawlings, former head of state of the Republic of Ghana and the first president of the Fourth Republic.
Glory, honor, power belongs to you.